All right, this is the next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our retro pay-per-view review series. This is going to be WWF Rock Bottom / In Your House. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank, and the name pretty much says it all. They hit rock bottom, sort of. I mean, not really. The last two matches were okay. The rest of the card kind of felt like a filler, but we'll get into it. December 13th, 1998, Vancouver, British Columbia. 20,042 on hand for this. Buy rate at this point is second time in a row it's gone down. It's only 290,000 on this one.
Yeah, it's not a
Yeah,
major, it's not a major pay-per-view though, so
no, it's not. And you got Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler doing the commentary. Jim Ross is away. He had suffered a Bell's palsy episode during Capital Carnage,
hmm
which was keeping him away at this time right now. So Michael
I
Cole was
think
filling in.
I think something happened with his mother. I don't know if his mother died around this time too.
Yeah, he was dealing with the family issues they had mentioned on
Yeah.
the card as well. So yeah, it's not going too good for him at this moment. Before the event even started, they showed Rock arriving at Planet Hollywood in Vancouver, talking about how In Your House will now
Jeez,
be called
Planet
will be
Hollywood, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
Do they still
it
have
will
them?
now be called I
They're
don't
still
even know.
open?
Um,
I remember the one in New York. I went a long time ago.
yeah, it's been a while, but then again, anything I've ever gone to in New York is closed, so it doesn't matter anymore. So Rock was talking about how In Your House will now be called In the Rock's
hmm
House, and how pay-per-views going forward will be called Rock Solid, Rock and Roll, and Laying the Smackdown. Calm down,
Funny,
buddy. Get through this match
it's
first.
funny that he says laying the SmackDown because later on the show
SmackDown's coming.
SmackDown, yeah. I wonder if he had any heat backstage. Or not heat. I wonder if people were like kind of jealous and kind of like a little annoyed the fact that he's got a
Because
show.
it was named pretty much after him.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, I never read an article or heard a rumor or
Right.
anything
I'm
in
just
regards to
curious.
that stuff.
I've always thought about that to have a show named after you.
Yeah, because every
Kind of
time
crazy.
he got on the mic, he'd be laying the smackdown.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny the name Rock Bottom. I don't know. Every time I hear it for some reason, do you remember that store in New York, Rock Bottom? Do you remember? It used to it even had like I remember the jingle was like Rock Bottom, Rock Bottom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you talk
yeah,
about years
yeah.
ago.
Throwback, man.
Oh Lord, yeah, it makes me feel old. Thank you.
It's like nobody
So,
beats the Wiz. Jesus Christ.
woof. Talk about something that's ancient. I used to love going there
I
though,
used to go
but
there all the time.
the prices were like Best Buy now. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. I used to get the
When
CDs
the,
though when the CDs used to come out on Tuesdays.
yeah, I used to get the DVDs from them, and there was
Yeah,
one that I was looking at that was $30. I looked at them. I said, "You got a lot of faith in this, don't you?"
yeah. Jesus. Well, somebody beat them because they went out of business. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. They beat them. Anyway, our opening match of the night was The Godfather and Val Venus versus D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. It was a short match. It was our You had the Hose come out with The Godfather, and then you had Jacqueline and Terry coming out with D'Lo
hmm
and Mark Henry. They would obviously get into it, a little scuffle on the outside. Of course, that's going to happen. I love in the beginning of the night, Godfather tells him, "Hey, I'm going to give you girls the night off. You can go, with Val Venus." Of course, Val's getting all happy there. Win the match first, Val. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. With the referee being distracted, Jacqueline pulled Val's tights, which we didn't need to see the little whatever was underneath, and then slapped him. Mark Henry then clotheslines him, gives him the splash, and D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry win the match. So this match was
It's a filler match.
okay.
Just a filler match.
There
This is
was quite a
Russo. This is
few,
a Russo. This is another Russo match.
unfortunately. The next match was definitely a filler match. I'll get to that in a second. Following this, Doc Hendricks interviewed Triple H in China, talking about how corporate commissioner Shawn Michaels barred DX from
Right,
ringside
right,
during
right.
the tag title match. Wouldn't be the first last time we hear or see Shawn Michaels in the evening. So the next match on the card was the Oddities,
Oh
Golga and
God.
Kurrigan, or Earthquake
Oh Jesus.
is as Golga versus the Headbangers.
This guy went from feuding with Hulk Hogan to this.
to holding a Cartman doll
Yeah,
under a mask.
yeah,
And the best part is he went for the earthquake splash,
yeah.
and it ends with uh, what was it? Mosh, I believe it was, off the top rope and pins Golger, and they get the victory.
Moving on.
Yeah, exactly. Prior to that match, though, they had showed earlier in the night that Mankind had attacked The Rock.
Hmm.
Um, and there's the stipulation in the contract that if The Rock cannot defend the title tonight, that he would have to forfeit it to Mankind. So they showed Rock in the back with Vince and Shane. Of course, Vince is telling him everything will be okay and whatnot. So following the Headbangers match, Kevin Kelly and Tom Pritchard talking about the Buried Alive match later on. Winner gets a spot in the Royal Rumble. Of course, then they show Vince, Shane, Patterson, and Briscoe talking about the title match. And of course, Vince trying to figure something out. Briscoe's like, I can get you a cup of coffee, Mr. McMahon. Oh, Lord, those guys. In any event, the next match on the card was actually I don't remember which writer, but a writer several years later actually said that this pay-per-view was so bad that this next match was actually the best on the card. I don't agree with you at all. The next match on the card is Steve Blackman versus Owen Hart. And of course, this is happening in reverse where Blackman's being booed and
Right.
Owen's being cheered.
Because they're in Canada. They're in Canada, yeah.
So, and now Owen's supposedly coming out of retirement
Right, yeah.
in this match
He retired
because
because he hurt Dan Severn, right?
Dan the B Severn,
Yeah.
yes. And Blackman, it was funny because Blackman puts the sharpshooter on Owen, but Owen got to the ropes. They were both and this was a ridiculous ending. Both were fighting on the outside, and then Blackman just realizes, "Oh, I got to get back in the ring," and Owen gets counted out. Like Owen had enough or whatnot. So Steve Blackman wins by countout. So following the Steve Blackman match, once again, now Vince is in the back looking for Mankind, finds his little office door
That was
there. I
hilarious.
thought
That was
it was.
hilarious.
I liked it. And it's about time you got here. We need to talk.
Yeah.
And he goes into his little office under the stairs there. I love Mankind, man. They got good stuff for him. Now our next match on the card was the Job Squad: Al Snow, Bob Holly, and Scorpio versus the Brood of Edge, Christian, and Gangrel. Christian no longer the light heavyweight champion, as Dwayne Gill beat him for the title thanks to Al Snow. So Little Gilbert is the champion. This match, the fans were not even into it all.
Not really.
I mean, even when all six men got in the ring, there was not even a pop from these guys. And it's not the Brood's fault. I'm
No.
blaming the job squad's fault because by this point, people are cheering for Al Snow, but it's like Bob Holly and Scorpio are the issues. So Al Snow hits Christian in the head with head. Gangrel, knocked him to the outside, so the pin wasn't able to become available. Scorpio, he hit a nice moonsault leg drop on Christian, and unfortunately, he didn't get a pop from the crowd on this one. But Edge broke it up. This ends with Christian hitting his what would in the future be called the Unprettier
Hmm.
on Scorpio, and the Brood get the pin.
See.
Obviously, they're going to get the pin because the Job Squad, well, their name speaks for themselves. Job Squad. So once again, they go to the back. Vince is still talking to Mankind about the contract and everything. Moving on from that. Now, the next match on the card is a striptease match. Goldust versus Double J Jeff Jarrett, in which the winner, if Goldust wins, Deborah has to strip. If Jarrett wins, Goldust has to strip.
Oh, Jesus.
That's your boy.
Broke 6,000 guitars.
There we go.
Never drew a dime. And when Jeff Jarrett came out, you get a rat piss on cotton. Why? Why?
Every time we have a Jarrett pay-per-view, we might as well just wear that shirt.
Yeah, seriously.
And it's funny because as Jarrett was coming down, Scorpio was staring him down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They showed last Monday on Raw that Goldust had flashed Deborah and cost Jarrett the match. So this storyline really didn't make any sense. He hit the curtain call on Jarrett, but obviously the ref being distracted by
Well, Deborah,
Deborah.
yeah, Deborah, yeah, he had him beat.
Yes, he did. And of course, and Deborah comes in the ring once again. The referee distracted. Goldust hits Shattered Dreams on
That
on
was funny.
Jarrett,
That was funny.
but then Deborah hits him with the
The
guitar,
guitar, yeah, hard.
and the referee doesn't even see this
So all
yet.
the broken pieces of the guitar all over the ring,
Yeah, and
and he
Jeff
doesn't.
gets the
Yeah,
pin until Shawn Michaels comes out and
right.
says, I've been thumbing through the rule book, and if you use a foreign object, you're disqualified.
What I didn't
So he
understand,
reversed the decision.
yeah, what I didn't understand was like Sean's supposed to be a heel here. This is kind of like a babyface move.
It was
Yeah, so I
because
didn't
then
get that.
later on during the night he comes out as a heel,
Yeah,
but here he's
so
pandering to the
babyface.
crowd, and
Yeah, or maybe he just wanted to see Deborah stripped. I think maybe that
I think
was
he wanted to see Deborah strip
that
because
was that was
I
the
love
move.
the fact that he pulls his wallet out
Yeah, yeah, he
and slips a little money in there, and she gives it back
no,
to
he went
him.
back to him.
Oh, Sean. But then, as she's about to show us all the good stuff, what happens? Blue Blazer and Jeff Jarrett ruin it for
Yeah,
us. Thanks a lot, guys.
yeah,
They cover her
yeah.
up and they take her out of there. Like, well, we weren't going to see it anyway,
Right,
but it
right.
doesn't matter. The fact that they put Blue Blazer's robe over her, everybody was like, "Ah, oh, this is bullcrap." So, following that, now Vince had left Mankind's office finally with a smile on his face. So apparently, they have come to some sort of
Mm-hmm.
agreement. Our next match on the card was for the tag team titles. New Age Outlaws defending the titles against the Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock from
Yeah,
the
because
corporation.
yeah, Shamrock's in the corporation now.
And you have the IC champion and the Hardcore champion
Right.
going after the tag team titles. And Sean was at ringside, for this one, so you think he's going to get involved in the match, but not. He didn't really. And once again, Michael Cole is taking up where Jim Ross left off, building up Billy Gunn for
Yeah,
you.
he starts talking. He's the best athlete in the whole WWF.
After once the match was over, he mentioned that, and I'm like, oh, we're doing this again.
As well as complaining about last time with Jim Ross. No. Oh gosh.
And Bill, what was I going to say? Billy had the pin on Shamrock, but Sean pulled the ref
Mm-hmm.
out of the ring. So unfortunately, he is getting involved in the match. Bossman hit Billy with the nightstick, but Shamrock couldn't get the pin on him. Billy Gunn then went for the suplex on Shamrock. Sean pulled his leg, but the momentum was enough for Billy Gunn to flip him
Yep.
over. He gets the pin, and the
Mhm.
New Age Outlaws keep the tag team titles. Sean is irate. He's trying to calm Shamrock and Bossman down. So once again, the New Age Outlaws escape another one. And it was funny because they pulled the wool over Sean's eyes previously,
Mhm.
a couple of weeks back, making him believe that they have joined the corporation.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's coming on DX, just it's not them.
Yeah.
So now they had the video package on how Rock became champion, how Vince McMahon was screwing Rock over, and the tournament ensued a Survivor Series, and how they pretty much screwed Mankind, and The Rock is now the corporate champion. Now, The Rock is defending the title against Mankind in this match. And it's funny because before the match, Vince got a microphone and Mankind had the contract in his hands. The mentioned before of the clause if The Rock couldn't wrestle, then the title will be forfeited to Mankind. And earlier in the night, Mankind attacked The Rock,
Mhm.
and they were worried about his ribs.
This is the forgotten match between The Rock and
It is because
Mankind.
this is the one where this is the Montreal Screwjob Part 3.
Yeah.
Because the second part was at Survivor Series, and then there was this one because he mentioned at Survivor Series that The Rock had the sharpshooter on Mankind,
Mhm.
and he wanted Vince to admit that he didn't quit at Survivor Series, but he wanted him on his knees to do it. And then finally, Mankind rips up the contract, and we have our match. And of course, anything Mankind did, he was on the outside. Vince told the referee the next time he pulls anything like that, I want him disqualified. During anything when Mankind went to the outside, Vince was telling the referee he needed to disqualify him. Now, at one point during the match, it was funny. Rock was doing commentary while he was beating down Mankind, spitting water in his face. This
Yeah.
was the Rock I really
Used to do
liked.
that, yeah. That was good stuff, man.
It
Yeah.
was, and of course, Lawler wants a high five, and he's like, "I'll kick your teeth down your throat." He
Yeah.
goes, "Hey, whoa, whoa, what's your problem? I'm on your side." And whatnot. Rock DDT'd Mankind on a chair on the outside, which was good. He hit the people's elbow on Mankind, but couldn't get the pin at that point. Now, Mankind leg dropped the groin of the Rock, which Vince told at this point, Vince told the referee to disqualify him. So Mankind apologized to the referee. Then he tells the timekeeper to ring the
Mm-hmm.
bell and disqualify him. Mankind went after the
Yeah.
timekeeper. So at this point now, Rock
Fun.
hits Mankind with the chair. Oh, this was hysterical.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And Rock bottoms him, but there's no referee in the ring. Shane accidentally hit Rock with the title at this point, and then Tim White had come down, but the Rock kicked out of the pin. Mankind gave, I know, it was like 2 and 7/8. The Mankind gives Mr. Sacco to the Rock, and Mankind technically won, even though I guess he was knocked out because he didn't submit or he didn't say I quit. So now Mankind wins and he should be the champion because it's by way of technical submission.
Yeah, Vince said pinfall submission, right?
Yeah, so Vince claims that The Rock didn't tap or submit.
Right, yeah.
Therefore, he's still the heavyweight champion.
Which is BS, but it's part of the story.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, this is going to be the dragged out story going to WrestleMania that's going to make Rock a 3-time champion before he gets to WrestleMania, unfortunately. But the storyline between the two going to WrestleMania was great.
What I didn't understand was that right here, Mankind somehow becomes immune to chair shots.
Oh, yeah.
Man's hitting him with the chair, and he's no selling it. And I'm like, he's not the Undertaker or Kane.
I think it's just the adrenaline of the rush.
I know. Maybe, I just thought it didn't fit. I thought it didn't fit.
It didn't. But then again, it is Mankind who will tell you, hit me as hard as you can. And
no, it just to me, Mankind always was even though he would go through hell, he was human.
Yeah.
He's a very human character, even though he would be put through hell.
If you don't believe it, ask him now if you see him on a shoot, because that man is 24/7 in constant agony.
Yeah,
but this was a good match. We're going to get plenty more of these. They're going to fight again at the Rumble and the I Quit match. You get the Super Bowl halftime heat, the
arena, the empty
abandoned arena where Mankind goes down about 200. He's like John Wick, goes down 240 foot stairs there. This is going to be great going forward. And of course, the famous Monday Night Raw, thanks to Tony Schiavone, that everybody tuned in to. Mankind wins the title.
Yeah,
and that was the biggest pop I've ever heard out of a crowd on Monday Night Raw. So for a lot of people, this match was bogus to them because of the outcome. But this is the next chapter in the saga between the two, and it gets better. So when that reporter said that this was a garbage match, I don't know what he's talking about, because it wasn't.
No, it was fine.
And neither was the next match on our card, the main event.
No, the ending was a little stupid. We'll get to it though.
Yeah. The Buried Alive match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker. The winner qualifies for the 1999 Royal Rumble.
Right. Now, the thing is, once Undertaker's involved in a Buried Alive match, he's in trouble. The Undertaker seems.
I don't think he's ever won one.
He might have, but I just remember the loss.
He lost in 2003 to Vince, thanks to Kane. And he lost this one thanks to Kane.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me see a pattern here.
Then the Buried Alive. Then it was the whole thing with Mankind. Remember the Buried Alive match? Was the Executioner?
Executioner, yeah. It wasn't King.
I knew once Undertaker, I was like, he's in trouble. The build-up to this was hilarious because this is when Undertaker first he forms the Ministry.
Yes.
So the build-up was just it was
they're trying to embalm Austin.
They try to embalm him, and then Kane saves him.
Of all people, Kane saves him.
Well, Kane was still angry at him, because remember Paul Bearer had turned on him. They threw Paul Bearer down the sewer.
I love that.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Oh my god! Then they crucified Austin.
This was awesome stuff.
It was good stuff. It was good. Yeah, it was. I love Ministry Undertaker. Some people say, okay, it was a little over the top, fine, but I just thought he was.
Come on, the unholy wedding with Stephanie.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was great stuff.
I love the Ministry.
It gets crazier though. It gets crazier as it goes on.
I was pissed off that he had to leave because of the injury.
Yeah.
because who's to say how long? Granted, the he would have changed his character eventually
Yeah, yeah,
anyway, but how much longer he would have gone with this had he not needed the surgery.
yeah,
But
yeah.
oh,
But
I love
mhm,
the Unholy Alliance and all that stuff,
yeah.
man. It was great. This is
So,
where the Undertaker actually the character belonged.
mhm,
So, and this match started in typical Austin Undertaker fashion. Starts in the aisleway. We're not waiting to get to the ring. We're not doing leg drops and toe holds and all this stuff. No, we're using chairs, shovels, gasoline cans, anything we can get because this feud has been culminating for months.
mhm.
You can even say it started at SummerSlam before the triple threat match
Yeah.
with Kane, Taker, and Austin. And these guys have always had a feud, and this is one of Austin's best feuds of all time,
Mhm.
is with the Undertaker. And I love the fact that Taker choke slams Austin in the ring, and then he realizes, oh, I got to take him down there, so you
Yeah.
got to carry it, like a drunk Austin or whatnot. What I didn't like was the disrespect during this match. Taker gets hit with a drink.
Yeah, it was soda. They threw a soda.
Oh, and by the way, I failed to mention earlier. My apologies. During the Headbangers match at the end, that the fan pushed Mosh.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, and as they were leaving, they were pointed out, and security
Oh,
had him leave, and then there was a cop waiting
yeah.
for him. But yeah, he had shoved him
During
after the match.
during the Attitude Era, the crowd seemed to get a little bit more unruly.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. I noticed that when I went to the house shows at the Garden.
Yeah, it started to get a little more. You know
Uh-huh.
what it is? The demographic changed because
Yes.
before it was more of a younger crowd, right? It was more kind of geared towards more kids, right? And then in
Yeah.
the Attitude Era, it's kind of geared
18
towards
to 25.
18 to 25, maybe a little bit older, and then these guys are drunk and doing stupid stuff.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
how many times we were cross shopping and even at work and stuff.
yeah, but
We were
I
unruly
wasn't throwing
culture. I was
batteries.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wasn't throwing batteries and soda at people though. But I get what you're saying.
Well, not that I know of.
Yeah, no, no, no,
Not
not
that
that much.
not that you
You
didn't tell
never,
me.
you never attack the performers, man. That's wrong.
No, no, no,
But
no, no. I'm talking about customer.
yeah,
Not.
yeah,
No, you never attack them because they'll kill you. I mean, everybody's seen the video of Triple H facing Austin, and when the fan came over, Triple H almost killed this
yeah,
fool.
yeah. So
So you don't put your hands on him. And I didn't like the fact that they threw the soda at him.
no,
It
that was
wasn't a garbage match. It wasn't
no.
WCW.
Jeez. I guess they just really they really liked Austin. I guess it was when he
Oh,
threw him
they
in, right?
loved
They throw
Austin.
the soda when Austin's throwing him in
Yes, he was
in
he was already in there,
yeah, yeah,
and he's going to get the shovel, and all of a sudden it hits the bridge of his
yeah. I
back,
saw that. Yeah, yeah.
and so Austin gets out, at this point, and he grabs the gas can. Now, Austin, Taker's got a gas can down there, and
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Lawler's like, what's he need that for? And Michael Cole's like, oh, you can only imagine. It's going to set him on fire.
Jeez, like Kane.
Austin got the gas can, grabbed it twice, hit him with it twice, and
Yeah,
then stunned him. So he goes into the
the
grave.
gravy. That was good stuff.
Austin's like, I'll be back in a
Yeah,
minute. He
disappears.
disappears. Taker gets out of the
Right,
grave,
right.
and he's like, he's kind of waiting on
He's
the hill,
hiding.
like
He's
he's gonna
hiding. Like
hit
he
him,
gets the shovel and he's like hiding.
like nobody
And
can
then
see this.
yeah, then you hear that boom. You hear that explosion.
The
He's like,
explosion out of the grave, and we're like, what the hell is that? All of a sudden, here comes Kane.
Kane. Yeah.
So they got a little tunnel under there somewhere. I'd really like. It's like a magician's trick. I would really like to know how they maneuvered
Well,
that.
fully explained it. There was kind of like a door that you can go
Oh
in.
yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was cool. All of a sudden, you hear the explosion hit. That's gotta be Kane. Here
Yeah.
comes Kane. So Kane's fighting Taker, reverses the tombstone,
Hmm.
tombstones his brother into the grave. Here comes Austin with a backhoe now, and they're having problems with
Yeah,
the
the truck driver.
machinery.
Yeah, the truck driver can't.
He didn't. I don't think he knew what to do.
No, it looked like initially he drops. It takes him a long time. He drops the dirt, but then you need more dirt. So
Yeah,
Austin's telling him get the dirt, scrape it, and it looked like he didn't know how to operate it or something. So he gets frustrated. And he just takes the shovel and he starts just throwing the dirt.
and then eventually goes and grabs his Steve Weisers,
Yeah,
and he's celebrating before he's
right,
even officially
right. Yeah,
buried.
exactly.
And
You
and,
can tell
and
he
they
was
played the music.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So
This had to be last, even though it wasn't, for the title. This had to be last just because of the machinery that was involved and everything, and then the
yeah,
setup with Undertaker being in there, and they don't want the fans to see on the, so after the fact.
A lot of people probably will be like, okay, the pay-per-view's named after him. Why isn't he
Yeah,
the
but
main event?
it's because of that.
This
It's
is the
because
reason.
of
Yeah,
yeah, it's because of all the stuff that's involved.
Taker's not going to stay in the grave through another match.
Right, right,
Sorry,
exactly. Yeah.
not happening.
So yeah, the last two matches redeemed
It
the
saved
paper.
it.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Going forward now into 1999, the road to WrestleMania. It, these two matches, started the
Hmm.
process of what we're going to see at WrestleMania. So they were really good. And the next In Your House, the final In Your House that we're going to do is not going to disappoint either because it'll be Austin versus McMahon. Austin gets the win. He goes to WrestleMania to face The Rock because of the Royal Rumble win of Vince. Now, of
Hmm.
course, Austin at that point couldn't win three in a row
Right, yeah. Well, that's
on
understandable.
Rumbles.
Yeah. All right, well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.